Hey guys, do you want to put yourself in this guy's shoes? Hey, if you do, keep following. We're going to show you how we made that happen and how we continually make it happen. Over, the last few years, we've got into quite a few elk, and it's not because we just luck into them. There's a lot of providence involved, of course, but there's also a lot of work that we've been putting into it, and we're going to share some of that with you in this series. So hit that bell, because you're going to want every one of these episodes. So hit that bell, and every time one comes out, it'll notify you. Hey guys, Nate Bailey here with the Life Outdoors, and welcome to our elk hunting series. This is a foundational series for elk hunting. There's a lot of different courses out there. A lot of them are paid, and you can learn a lot of elk hunting. But we decided, we've been pretty fortunate the last few years. We've got into a lot of elk. We haven't killed a ton until last year. We killed four last year, all in Oregon, and but years prior, every year from 2014 all the way forward, we've got into elk, and I've got other people into elk, and a lot of them were new to elk hunting, and so a lot of those variables. And all the guys that were new to elk hunting that I introduced to it, all learned something, and they're becoming very good elk hunters now. And I thought, man, we need to share this. We need to share this with everybody, because it took me a lot of years to gain the knowledge of how we elk hunt. And I'm not the end-all be-all of elk hunting, but we have found a formula that works, and we've used some of the tactics that I've learned in the military and things like that by putting things down on paper, getting our thoughts straight, and getting all of our ideas together. And that saves us the time when we're actually in the elk hunting woods. So elk hunting starts right now. It's June. I've been out scouting. I've been putting cameras up, and it starts now. And I'm going to show you how we start our whole cycle of elk hunting and what we do to start that. I'm in the Cascades. This is an area that is near and dear to me. We killed 2 bulls out of the southern Cascades area last year, and it's all from this system that we used. Why are we bringing this to you? Well, one of our goals is to bring life in and through the outdoors, and we think that if you get out here and you get in the woods and you start elk hunting, and elk hunting especially because of all the hard work and all the stuff, all the sacrifice it takes to do it, all of that, it has some deep medicine to it. Elk hunting has deep medicine. It's going to rearrange your ideas and your worldview, and we think it makes you more open to spiritual realities of who God is and what He does. The second reason we're bringing this to you is it took me a lot of years, and I had nobody to show me. I had to learn all this on my own, and I thought, man, why can't I help somebody who's struggling, maybe doesn't have the money to buy some of these other elk series. There's some great ones out there. Doesn't have the money to buy that, but really wants to be successful. Maybe you've been hunting for elk for several years and not even seen any. Well, I know how that feels, guys. I've been there. I've done that. And what we really want to do with this series is we want to help you be more successful. So without further ado, this is the introduction video. Without further ado, I have created a whole checklist and a kind of a work group, a workbook of things that we do, and it's totally free. You just got to go over to the lifeoutdoors.com. Go over to lifeoutdoors.com, and then you'll see it right there. You'll see the foundations of elk hunting. Click on that, and you'll become a member. You got to become a member. You got to put your name in, and then you can download each one of these documents as I upload them. I'm going to upload them every week. And these documents are to help you get your thoughts straight about elk hunting and to get out there and to set yourself up for success. And success is different for everybody. Like if this is your first year and you never elk hunted before, if you get into bugling bulls and you get into bulls and you get around elk, that is highly successful. There's tons of people that have never done that before, ever. They've hunted for 10 years and not done that. So that's highly successful. So this will teach you how to start getting that direction. This is the elk bow hunting checklist, and what this is to focus you. And that's what this video is all about, is getting you focused on what your expectations are for the season and how to get your mindset and to put all of your ideas into that mindset. That way this builds on to the next video where you're going to go out and then you're going to start your scouting. And until you get this stuff down, you're probably not going to do that stuff right. So it's kind of a step progression. Okay, and the first, number one, if you guys want to pause this and go over to the Life Outdoors, get this checklist, and then you can follow along with me, and I'm going to tell you kind of how this was set up. Okay, so number one was realistic goals. What are your goals for elk hunting? Is it to get into elk and learn a ton? Is it to harvest any elk, to harvest a bull, or to harvest a mature bull? And because each one of those is going to make it a little bit different on the way that you approach your elk season. So you have to, right now is the time to figure that out, because you want to be setting yourself up in the scouting and all of your preparation for what your goal is. And make a realistic one. Don't go, I want a 360 bull your first year. I mean, it can happen. It very well can happen just by setting it up the way that you're hunting. But what I'm saying is have some expectations. Maybe it's just getting into elk and being around the elk woods. I mean, that is probably, nowadays for me, that's more important than, well, I can't say that. It is important. It's almost as fun as eating it later and packing it out and eating it, but it is fun. It's fun just being in the elk and getting your butt kicked by bulls and watching them walk off. And now we film it. We film our messes up and we film all the elk that we miss, but it's still fun. That's still a success. Just getting in the elk woods is a success. Getting out and having a whole system of what you're going to do is success. Harvest any elk. That would make you look at things differently, like for one, tags, for two, what you're looking at for elk. Maybe you're just looking to find the big herd, you know. And during bow season, big bulls and big herds seem to go hand in hand. It's a lot easier a lot of times to harvest a smaller satellite bull than really a cow. Maybe it's just to harvest, maybe your plan is to harvest a bull. Well, you know, if that's your plan, that you're going to set yourself up and do those things now to get yourself ready for that. Okay, number two, what's the realistic type of hunt for you? What do you want to do? Not everybody's going to be able to backcountry bivvy their first year. I mean, not everybody has the skill set to do that. Are you going to run and gun out of a vehicle? That means, you know, have minimal amount of stuff and then just find different spots, go in. If the elk are there, cool, you're going to camp where the elk are. If they're not there, you come back out, hitting the vehicle again and going. Are you going to RV base camp? We do this too. You know, when we hunt Eastern Oregon, we have a little area that we hunt, and we know that area so well. It's not very little. It's like 20 miles. But we know it so well that we could base camp it and have a shower. That's really kind of nice. Or maybe this is your first year and you want to be around elk and you're going to do a guided trip. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you have the money, that'll and gets you closer to elk. The more elk you get closer to, the better you're going to get at calling, knowing how to draw on them. The better your odds are going to be. Okay, so those are just, if you look at the sheet here, those are just bubbles, and that's what you mark off. Now you're going to have some questions and answer kind of things. How much time do you have? Because that coincides with how you're going to hunt. If you only have a little bit of time, say you only have like a weekend, you're not going to go backcountry bivety probably. You're probably going to go and do the vehicle thing, right? Or maybe you have this weekend and you'll do the vehicle thing on that, and then you have 2 weeks where you can go in the backcountry. But the amount of time you have is going to dictate what you can do. How much gear do you have and what kind? That's a big deal. I'm not a gear geek, but you have to have the necessities. You got to have boots, got to have a good pair of pants, got to have if you're going to bivety, for sure you got to have a good pack. You got to have some kind of pack if you're going in, even 3 miles in or so. You got to have some way of getting that elk out. You don't have to have the newest and greatest, but you got to have a pack. You don't have to have binoculars. So realize what gear you have, and that's going to help you decide on what you're gonna do. The next thing is, what kind of physical shape are you in? I'm finding out, man, I'm in the worst shape that I've been in a long time. And 2020 just hit me pretty hard. Sat around doing very little, doing a lot of duck hunting, but not doing a lot of hiking and stuff like that. So what kind of shape are you in? That's why it's good to start now, because you can put all your gear on, get out there and go, oh man, I really need to work. So then you could get ready for September. What can I learn about elk? Oh, hold on. Number 7, what is my elk knowledge? So be realistic in this. What do you actually know about elk hunting? And so right now is the time to ask that, because you have 2.5 months to get yourself knowledgeable, more knowledgeable about elk. Just start hammering the videos. Go to, get on the podcast and just start hammering yourself. One word of caution though is, don't overthink this stuff. It's still hunting. They're still animals. You got to know certain things, but it comes down to finding the bulls, finding the elk, and then hunting them. That's what it comes down to. So don't overthink, because what do they call it? Analysis paralysis, where you overthink something so much you don't act, and you can't do that elk hunting. You have to put on the miles. You got to go. You got to try. And that's why this course is so good, is because as you'll see in our next video, we're going to scout spots, and I say we have to get 10 spots. If you're gonna do bivities or like this run and gun stuff, you got to have 10 spots. And if the elk aren't there, you get out and you go to the next one. And I'm going to show you guys how to prioritize those spots, how to find them, and that way you stay on task. Because if you stay on task, that you're always going to have an objective, and that'll keep your morale up, and it'll keep you doing something, and you won't just lag. It's so easy to go, I don't even know where to go today. I'm just going to sleep in. So, well, if you have 10 spots, then you have something to do, and that'll keep you hunting. And that's the big key. That's the key, is good positive attitude and keep after it. So number 8, what can I learn now? Just start doing it. Start getting rid of those. Just start figuring it out. Number 9, what are the roadblocks in my personal life? This is a big one, because if you're out there hunting, especially you young, just married, if you guys are just married and she didn't realize how much you hunted, maybe, or something like that, this is a big one. Make sure you get your home life figured out, because you can't hunt good until you get your home life figured out. And may I suggest that I think every young couple should have some kind of counseling from an older married couple. That'll help your hunting. It'll help your hunting 100%. And also get those things done. So in the off season, make the off season the off season. What I mean by that is, take her out, go to dinner, go do the stuff. Another thing is, when you're scouting, take her with you. If you're not married yet, find somebody that likes to at least hike and go camping, and take her camping, and then you go in, spend 4 hours, check the place out, do your checkoff sheet, and then come back and then spend the rest of the day camping, go swimming, do all that stuff. So getting that personal life in order is so important, you guys. It's really hard to hunt when you know that your wife's sitting at home fuming about it, or your kids, or you didn't spend enough time with them, and so that's the more important thing. So that's the introductory video, you guys. If you want to see some of the results of how this system works, I'm going to leave a video link in the end of this video. So go straight there and go check out some of our hunts. You'll enjoy them. They were good. We had a great time. And then also hit that bell, subscribe, go over to the Life Outdoors with a Z on the end. So it's Outdoors with a Z on the end, the Life Outdoors with a Z on the end.com, and download this. And I'm going to upload new sheets with every video that we put out. So we're here to help. We want to get you outdoors. We want to make you successful, help you become successful. We can't make you successful, but we want to help you become successful and give you a plan for this elk season. And we want to make 2021 your best elk season ever. All right, go check out those videos and then hit the bell. We'll be coming back with how to choose your spots next.